Hi, this is Osman. I'm an energy healer, yoga meditation teacher, and an entrepreneur. Be sure to visit my website, yogawellness786.com, for discussions on current trending problems and subject matters, integrating modern science and the ancient thousands of year old arts. Also, we are applying natural methods and ancient science, ancient arts methods that has been in existence for thousands of years. But these are all natural therapies and not a replacement for medical treatment. If you have a medical condition, please be sure to consult a qualified and licensed medical professional in your locality, right? So today I want to discuss, yoga and meditation perspective on how to deal with extremely aggressive and negative people, right? So when you're practicing yoga and meditation, you are seeking to become calmer, more centered, and more enduring, more forgiving, and a better human. But sometimes we are encountering, extremely negative people, very aggressive people, and very, people that totally, can frustrate you to and bring you into a zone that you don't want to get into, bringing out the worst in you, right? What do you do from a yoga and meditation point of view? So this is one of the reasons why yoga and meditation practice is so important, because as you develop in your practice, your ability to withstand and remain calm and be able to adapt to different kinds of people, especially the negative kind, starts improving incrementally. But not overnight you are able to be a saint and show the other cheek, so to speak, right? It's going to develop step by step, and eventually you will come to the level where you are able to withstand almost any kind of person, right? Even the worst kind, the most negative and the most aggressive and unruly, type of person, that when they come in connection with you and your energy, they calm down just by your presence. Eventually, this is what happens, right? But it's not going to happen overnight. So what do? Is you have to do your best to avoid these people and situations that's pushing you to a situation that you are uncomfortable, and where you cannot avoid it, you have to learn to practice, a calmness. So I'll give you an example. Um, there were some people that were highly negative and irritable, and people in society normally never used to like to visit them, but I used to visit them very often. And once, someone close to me asked me, how am I able to stand such an irritable person? Why do I visit that person so often? I said, no, this person is helping me build my patience. And I found that their irritability helps me to develop my patience and to be more inclusive of more types of people in society. And it's like an exercise for me. And that helped me a lot. And I was still, as a teenager, visiting, people like this and putting myself in discipline situations, doing fasting or helping out, voluntary services in cleaning the streets, or helping in the construction, or cleaning the garden, washing cars, or helping out with, with tasks and chores that were uncomfortable. So not only psychologically enduring, but also putting yourself into tasks that are beneficial, helping people out, and just offering your services voluntarily at times helps with your building your strength of mind, in order to be able to endure the negative people and situations as well. If you can endure negative people, you can also have the strength to endure negative situation and stresses and circumstances in your specific life, and have the strength, instead of being crushed by the problem, to have the strength to find a solution to drive yourself through it or overcome it, right? Work through it or overcome it. So instead of being, stifled by that problem, find a way to work through it and continue with your life. When the something's, learn the strategy or the statement that, try to have the wisdom to accept the things you cannot solve, right? And to solve the things that you can, and get the wisdom to know the difference, right? So some problems you can solve. Hopefully you get the wisdom, to find the solution. And there are some problems that you cannot solve. To get the wisdom to know that this is a problem you cannot solve, right? And to have the wisdom to know the difference, which ones you can solve and which you can't solve in life, Simple formula. It seems a little bit deep and complicated, but simple formula is going to help you in some, don't try to change people. People are people. I always say you cannot take a black cat and make it into a white cat. So whenever I see a very irritating person, right, and sometimes are working with the most irritable of people, and my colleagues also get very irritated with that person, and I tell my colleague, look, don't try to change that. You cannot take a black cat and make it into a white cat. And they always laugh when the point of irritation comes when that person is around. They keep saying, Osman, the black cat is here. This is your black cat, because I'm talking nice to everyone, right? Even if they're negative to others. But even if they're negative to me, I used to talk nicely in return, to them. And there were incidents where someone was so drunk and he took his fist and he punched me, in the face, 2 or 3 times, and hoping to start a fight. And I didn't respond because I know he's very drunk. And by me responding, I'm also trained in martial arts, so it can be dangerous for me to respond. Not that I'm some Bruce Lee or something, but I know the dangers. I know what a physical encounter can lead to, and we're in a level of civilization that we don't sort things out by fists, right? In a fist fight. And that's never going to be a solution. It's going to, in fact, exacerbate the situation and cause injury, or maybe permanent injury, or even someone can lose their life, when you resort to violence. It's as far as possible best to be non-violent, and to avoid it. And the person fisted me a few times and they got silent, and I remember the one person, in one incident, when he fisted, he said, hit me back, fight me. Why are you not fighting me? I said, no, I'm not on that level of civilization that I have to resort to this method of resolving the problem. He was surprised that I so calmly gave that type of statement and answer. And he became my best friend after that, As the days went by, there was a great respect for me. And even the person who fisted me a few times angrily, and he was extremely drunk at the time, the next day he was crying and he came and kissed my face on either side and said he was so sorry, and I said, no, I understand you were very drunk and you were very frustrated, and, nothing personal, because nothing that I did to make them, because if you calm, also don't be the one to instigate the problem, So we always have a saying, if there's a problematic situation, rule number 1 is walk away, right? Rule number 2 is, don't be the one who's causing that problem, right? You don't be the one who's the instigator of that problem. Very often, when there's a problem, there's a statement that it takes 2 to tango, right? So how much responsibility do you have in that conflict situation, right? Also, don't be the one. Try to avoid being the cause or the instigator or worsening of the situation, right? Don't worsen it, even though you may not be the one to have started it. So walk away. Or if you cannot walk away and you're not the cause of it, the last option is defend yourself, as far as within the bounds of necessity, enough to take yourself out of that situation, right? So I hope that helps you, and be sure to visit my website, yogawellness786.com, and take care of yourself.